What if I told you that in just 90 days, you could have a freelance business capable of $5,000 months, even if you've never had a client before? I cracked the code to consistent four-figure months without a big audience, paid ads, or relying on gig sites like Upwork and Fiverr. And that's what I'm going to show you inside this 90-day freelancing plan. We're going to cover everything from picking your niche to finding clients who pay you on repeat every month so you can always hit your income goal. But before you do anything else, you need to get really clear on the skills that you have that people will actually pay for. Now, because you clicked on this video, I'm assuming that you have marketable skills. That's why you're interested in freelancing. But if you don't, your first mission is to find a skill that you can learn really quickly. And thanks to the internet and AI, this is easier than ever. So if you are starting from scratch, your first mission is to find a skill that builds on your strength and has real demand. If you need some ideas, I have a video breaking down 7 AI-powered freelance services that are perfect for beginners, and I'll leave that down in the description for you to watch next. But don't go anywhere yet, because you really need to wrap your brain around what this 90-day plan is going to look like. When it comes to the service that you offer, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. The easiest path is finding something that aligns with your strengths and interests that clients are already paying for. I call this the niche trifecta. So it's made up of what you're good at, your skills, what you enjoy, your interests, and what's in demand. In other words, what businesses will actually pay for. This is different from the approach of asking what is a profitable niche or what are the most profitable niches right now. And I think it's really important to just pull that question out of your head, because just because something is profitable for one person doesn't mean it's going to be profitable for you if it doesn't align with your strengths and interests. So the better question is, where is there demand for what I'm interested in and what I'm good at? And here's a quick tip. If you're stuck, write a list of 3 to 5 different types of businesses. It could be different industries. It could be different stages of businesses like startups or small businesses, local businesses. Come up with 3 to 5 of those and look at that list and ask yourself, what problems do these businesses have that my skill set could help solve? The next step is where a lot of freelancers go wrong, because they try to skip ahead. They say, okay, I have a skill and I have a niche, so now I'm going to go out and I'm going to start pitching my services. And you know what? You may get some clients doing that, and you may get some projects. You may even have a $5,000 month, but you won't stay at $5,000 months because you have put yourself on the project hamster wheel. This is also how the feast or famine cycle starts, because the nature of projects is that when you finish one, you have to go and find another client. That's why if you want stability, you have to design a service that pays you monthly, like a subscription. This is where your retainer service comes in. I've been offering retainers for over 5 years, and I have never been out of work in that time. Yes, sometimes clients cancel and you have to go find another one, but it's much easier than having to find a new client every time a project ends. I work with most of my clients for years, so think about what you can offer your ideal clients on a monthly basis. And it doesn't matter what your skill is, there's always a way to turn it into a retainer service. Social content, email campaigns, blog support, ongoing design support, virtual assistant services, the list goes on and on. Now, pricing is really important for retainers because you want it to be a good value for the client while also being sustainable and lucrative for you. Because remember, you ideally want this to be a long-term relationship. If your goal is $5,000 a month, I generally recommend setting a rate that is around at least $1,000 a month, because here's something that I learned really early on. Every client comes with admin, right? You've got to send contracts, send invoices. There's usually meetings, reporting, edits, like all sorts of things can pile up for each client, and you don't want to be drowning in admin. That does not mean that you arbitrarily charge $1,000 or more for your services. You have to add $1,000 or more in value. A lot of times that means looking at a kind of base service and asking, what else can I add that would solve more problems for my ideal client and make their lives easier? Here's an example for my social media management package that goes for around $2,500 a month. I'm able to charge that much because I'm not just posting 2 times a week, 5 times a week, whatever. I see these social media management packages out there that are just like a number of posts and stories per week and checking notifications, and that's all well and good. But the reason that I'm able to charge more is that I solve bigger problems for my clients. I also offer creative strategy to help them build a content library of videos and images, and we get get really creative with this. Sometimes it's meeting with their team to teach them and coach them how to create content in-house. Sometimes it is running an influencer or UGC campaign so that we can build that content library. Sometimes it's doing both of those things on an ongoing basis. So because I've solved those really big problems of we need content and content is expensive, that $2,500 a month price tag is kind of a no-brainer. Now, obviously, when you're just starting out, there is only a certain level of knowledge that you're going to have, and that's okay. My point is that I want you to try to get creative. What else can you offer that your specific niche is in need of right now? And it's really okay if you can't solve every problem right now. Just try to get a little bit creative, and remember that your retainer service is never going to be perfect. So don't worry about perfection right now. You're just trying to create a package that shows that you understand what your ideal client needs. So you just need a starting point. And once you have that starting point, you need to make sure that your online presence reflects the value of your service. This is where your online authority comes in. Even before you start pitching, you need to make sure that your online presence positions you as someone who is credible. I want you to put yourself in the client's shoes for a second. If you get a pitch in your email and there is no link to a portfolio, website, LinkedIn profile, no way to learn any more about this person who has randomly reached out to you, why would you trust them? Chances are you probably aren't going to. I mean, anyone can send an email. A robot can send an email these days. Whereas if you have a website or a portfolio or a LinkedIn profile to point them to, you have automatically earned trust points. You've got 90 days to reach $5,000 months. You can spend one of those days setting up your online presence. And you really do not need anything fancy. It really shouldn't take you more than a day, maybe 2 days tops if you're going all out. Wherever you show up online for your business, you just need really clear messaging that explains who you help, how you help them, and how they can work with you. That means you do need to set up some sort of way to book a discovery call. I like to use Calendly for this. It's completely free. You can go in there, set up a discovery call event, and then put that link on your LinkedIn profile, on your website, in your portfolio, whatever you're using for your online presence. That way clients can book a call with you automatically. For your online presence, it also definitely helps for you to have some sort of proof, some sort of portfolio. Now, if you're just starting out and you have not worked with clients yet, do a mock project for an imaginary client. I know it sounds silly, but it totally works. When I was starting out, I was a copywriter and I wrote an email flow for a fictitious brand. I think it was called like Wild Plants or something. I don't know. I think I still have it. I'll try to find a screenshot and put it on the screen or something. But I just use this as my portfolio piece and it worked. Now, the other bonus of having a website, a LinkedIn profile, anything that's public online that can be found on Google or on LinkedIn or a social platform is that it is searchable. And because it's searchable, that means it gives clients an opportunity to find you. Which brings us to the big stumbling block for most freelancers, and that is finding clients. When you have an online presence, whether it be on social media or somewhere like LinkedIn, you can post organically, but I'll be totally honest with you, that organic visibility, it takes a long time to gain enough traction where you're actually going to be getting a steady drip of leads. Remember, your online presence is important because it's really helpful for establishing trust, especially when you're just starting out. But if your goal is to make $5,000 in 90 days, you need to focus on outreach. That means starting conversations with your ideal clients. If my goal were to get 5 clients within 90 days, I would be trying to have at least 2 conversations a week. And when I say conversations, I mean actually having a back and forth with someone, not just sending a cold pitch or a DM. And there are a lot of ways that you can do this, but the first thing that I always recommend to new freelancers is to make a list of at least 10 people that you already know. It could be someone from school, from work, someone that your parents know, it doesn't matter. Make that list, and that is your first outreach list. And when you reach out to these people, you aren't pitching them anything directly. You're just doing a quick catch up, letting them know what you're doing these days and asking them if they know anyone who might need that kind of help. You might think that you don't know anyone who needs your services, and maybe that's true, but maybe someone that you know knows someone who knows someone. Once you've tapped your current network, another tried and true method for getting clients is cold outreach. So this could be a cold email or a cold DM. But when I say cold outreach, I don't just mean spraying out the same message to hundreds or thousands of brands. You're gonna see the best results when you really tailor the message and when you make it clear that you actually looked at their business and saw that there is an opportunity where you can help them grow. Another way to find clients is to start having face-to-face conversations, like actually going to local networking events. You can check with your local chamber of commerce. You might be surprised that some of your local businesses are looking for your digital services. Now, there's another method that's kind of a hybrid between attraction and outreach, and that is group networking. This is where you join online communities where your ideal clients are already hanging out, and ideally where they're hanging out and talking about their business. So they're usually asking questions about their business, and that gives you an opportunity to step in as the expert. If you want my full playbook on group networking, watch this video next, where I break down step by step how to establish yourself as an authority and turn those comments into clients. So that's your 90-day plan. Pick your skill, find your niche trifecta, create a retainer offer, build your online presence, and start smart outreach. Follow these steps and you'll have a stable business that doesn't rely on luck. If you found this video helpful, make sure you're subscribed because I've got a lot more in store to help you build a stable freelance business.